Greetings, people of Earth. Fear not, I come in peace. I am here to show you how to draw. Today, we'll be drawing an outer space picture, one which I think you'll enjoy. Brought to you by Tikifez Comics. But first, let me change.
Hi, I'm Steven Harper. I'm an artist, but also an author. I write comic books and graphic novels, like The Quest for the Golden Butterfly, Episode 1, which is out soon from Tikifez Comics. Today, I want to show you how to draw this outer space scene right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw it line by line, step by step, and all you have to do to have a picture like this is to follow along with me as I draw it. Now, a couple things you will need. One thing, you will need a pencil or a pen, or your favorite color crayon, or a burnt stick or whatever you like to draw with. You'll also need a piece of paper. As we go through the drawing, I'm not going to show you the right way to draw. There's not a right way. I'm just going to show you a way to draw. Now, in the drawing, if there's something you want to do differently or something you want to change, something to make it your own, go right ahead and do that. Don't even stop to think about it. Don't hesitate. Just do it your way. I'm just trying to give you some ideas. All right? Now, are you ready to blast off into outer space? Great. Now, to get things started with our outer space picture, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the middle of my page and I'm going to draw a circle. Don't worry if it's not perfect. Don't worry if it's a little bit lopsided. It's okay. It doesn't matter. By the time we get finished with the whole drawing, you won't even notice anything like that. Now, the next thing I need to do is put a window in the helmet, because if you can't see out of a helmet, well, that's trouble. You know what you call a helmet you can't see out of, right? A bucket. So what I'm going to do here in the middle of my circle, I'm just going to put another circle. Kind of starts off looking like a donut. Donut? Now, around the outside edge of that circle, what I'm going to do is put another circle. Now, if you've ever seen anybody with wearing glasses, sometimes you'll notice like little white shapes that kind of float around on the glasses. It's called a glare or highlights. So what we're going to do to make this look like glass is we're going to put a highlight in there. I'm going to start on this side of the helmet. I'm just going to put a letter C. Alright? And then I'm going to put another little kind of shallower letter C right next to it. Makes it look kind of like a banana shape. Now, if we have our outer space explorer, we need to be able to hear if somebody's talking to us from like the control ship or the mothership or something. So I can put some earpieces on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start a line from the side of the helmet, goes out, goes down, goes back in. So I'm kind of drawing three sides of a rectangle. Let me show you again on the other side. A line that goes out, goes down, goes back in. Now sometimes what I like to do is I put more than one of those shapes on there. So for instance, we might do a second rectangle. A line that goes out, drops down, comes back in. There you go. Now you can do 3 or 4 or 10 of those if you really want. It's up to you. Now to get these transmissions coming through, we need an antenna or something like that. I like to put my antennas on top of the helmet. I'm just going to put one. I'm going to do a zigzag line up here at the top with a circle at the top of that. But you can do any way you want. If you want to do a straight line, if you want to do 2 or 3 lines, however you want to do it, that's up to you. Next thing I'm going to show, underneath the space helmet, I want to show where it joins to the body. So I'm going to draw just a little hot dog shape right here underneath the helmet. Next, we're going to need to do the torso of the body. The torso is this part right here, your chest, your tummy, stuff like that. I'm going to start with the shoulders. So what I'm going to do on each side, just a short, straight little line that goes out from the hot dog shape. Underneath this, I'm going to drop a line down, across, and down to meet it. Kind of looks like a flower pot shape. Now, officially, this shape is called a trapezoid. I trapezoid one time, but it bit me, so I let it go. Now, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and continue on down with the torso. I'm just going to put a rectangle down right underneath this. There you go. Alright, now, I always think about space explorers as being very heroic, kind of like Batman or Wonder Woman or Superman. Now, all those superheroes have some sort of emblem or design on their chest. That's what we need right here. Now, you could put your initials, a friend's initials, some sort of shape, some sort of design, whatever you like to put there. Now, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to do a circle, and then inside that circle, I'm going to put a triangle. And then, maybe one more thing, back behind it, I might put a rectangle. Sort of looks like it's going through there. I'm going to go ahead and put a belt on my Space Explorer. Maybe it's a meteor belt. Maybe it's the Van Allen belt. I'm going to make a trapezoid shape just right in the middle. Now, you're welcome to make any shape you want. You could make it a square, you could make it a circle, you could make it whatever type of shape you want it to be. And then I'm going to just draw a line that connects right there. Now, if you want to have any kind of controls or things like that on the belt buckle, like for controlling the rocket ship or something like that, you could do that. Maybe just put some circles, right? Maybe some lines. Whatever you want to put on there, or whatever you can fit on there. Let's continue with some legs. On this planet, I realize that most people have 2 legs. But if you think about it for a second, you need 3 lines to draw 2 legs. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to draw one line right in the middle, straight down. One line at this edge, one line at this edge. 3 lines, 2 legs. At the bottom of that, what I'm going to do next, I'm going to put a little hot dog shape here, and a hot dog shape right here. If you've run out of room or you're close to the bottom of your page, just go ahead and let it go off the bottom of the page. Don't feel like you have to squunch it all up and make it fit. It doesn't have to fit. Things are allowed to go off the bottom edge of the page. I do it all the time in drawings, so don't even worry about it. It just makes the things look bigger. Now, for my feet here, I'm going to draw a line down from there, a line down from there, 2 from each hot dog. They're getting a little bit narrower as they go. Human bodies kind of work that way. Arms, legs, tentacles, stuff like that. They're usually thicker by the body, and they get thinner as they go away from the body. Now, for the shoes, I'm going to draw an upside down U shape and an upside down U shape. Looks a little bit like horseshoes, but we'll fix that just by putting a straight line across the bottom of each one of those. That makes the shoes. Now, if you want to make sure that your Space Explorer has adequate traction on the surface of any planet they might encounter, you might want to put some spikes or cleats or something down there at the bottom. I do that by just putting a little zigzag line. To make sure that the boots stay on and fit properly, I always like to put some buckles on mine. Now, it's a very simple thing to do. All you have to do is put a square with a square inside of it. There's a square, square inside. Same thing over here. Square, square inside. Buckles. Now, do you want to put straps on the boots? All you have to do is put 2 lines off each side of those. Now, I think it's about time to arm our Explorer, don't you? By giving them some arms. I guess that makes me an arms dealer. To start with the arms, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a teardrop shape. Starts pointy and then gets rounder at the bottom, a teardrop shape, but I'm going to flip that upside down. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put a curved line that joins the body about halfway down. Curved line that joins the body about halfway down. Now for this arm right here, I'm going to draw myself a letter V. If you haven't gotten that far in the alphabet and don't know how to write a letter V, just draw a line that goes down and then back up again. Same thing. Now underneath that, I'm going to draw a slightly larger letter V. And at the end, I'm going to draw another hot dog shape. Now don't worry, that's not the hand, so don't start thinking, it doesn't look like a hand. You're right, it doesn't. We'll take care of that. Now for the other arm, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start at the top of the teardrop, or close to it, and I'm going to drop a line, just go straight down, one from the bottom edge, and again, a hot dog shape at the bottom of that. Now I have the arms I have the sleeves, but I need some hands. Okay, so here we go. On this arm, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 2 lines that come straight up from it, right? And then I'm going to draw 3/4 of a circle. Kind of looks a little bit like a boxing glove or a light bulb. Now, I want this hand to look like it's holding something and the fingers are wrapped around it. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to draw a line that curves in and then drops straight down. 2 or 3 more little lines right there will show how it looks like the fingers in between. Now, for the other arm, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do almost the same thing. I'm going to draw 2 lines going straight down, and then 3/4 of a circle. But here's the thing. On this arm that's just by its side, hanging down, you don't really see the fingers that much. You sort of see a little bit of them right here, but you don't see the fingers themselves. So, what we're going to do here, we're going to leave this one alone, but we are going to put that thumb right there. Now, when your arms are just hanging by your side, your thumb goes in towards the body. Remember that. Remember that. The thumb goes in towards the body. Boom! Just like that. Now, I always like my Space Explorers to have some sort of laser blaster or something like that. Right above the hand that's up in the air, I'm going to draw just a straight line. Alright? Then I'm going to put a letter C back here behind it, at the back end of it, and another straight line. I'm going to connect those with a straight up and down line. Looks a little bit like a hair dryer at first. Now, underneath this, I'm going to imagine a triangle right here, but I'm not going to draw the whole triangle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 3 sides of it. I'm just going to imagine where the rest of it is. Goes down, across, back up. Almost like part of a triangle. Alright, if you just imagine the rest of the triangle right up inside of the hand there, that's what we're going to do. Now, I like for them to have some sort of range finder or something like that up on top, some sort of laser sight. So we're going to draw something that looks a little bit like a satellite dish. Up here on the top of the laser blaster, I'm just going to put a letter C, and I'm going to put another little letter C right beside it, just like we did with the highlight on the helmet. Now, from inside this, I'm just going to put a little triangle that goes forward, comes right back. Now, next I'm going to connect this on this side with a curved line, on this side with a curved line. Remember this shape because it's going to come in very important. We're going to repeat that shape a couple of times. Off the front of this laser blaster, I'm going to put 2 lines where the laser is going to be coming out. And I'm going to repeat this shape right here. I'm just going to do a letter C, another slightly smaller letter C inside of it. Now, if you want to repeat that and give 3 or 4 or 5, 6 extra ones, you certainly can. I'm just going to stop there. I'm going to repeat that kind of little triangle right there. And again, fill in that edge with a curved line here and a curved line there. Here a curved line, there a curved line, everywhere a curved line. Old MacDonald had a laser blaster. Right now it does still kind of look like a hair dryer and we want to remedy that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some controls, some switches, some dials, some things like that. Now this could not be simpler. All you have to do is put maybe a row of circles, maybe a letter C, maybe some up and down lines, some side to side lines, just to make it look like there's something going on it that you could adjust, that you could change, that you could switch. There you go. One last finishing touch on our Space Explorer. A lot of times spacesuits are thermal. That means they're constructed out of material that will help hold heat into the body because space is very, very, very cold. So, what I want to do to show that kind of thermal insulation on the suit, I'm going to start on the legs here, maybe just 2 or 3 short little lines on the outside edge of the suit there. I'm going to do it on the inside edge of the arm as well. Now you might also want to put some sort of insignia or patch or design. I'm going to do that pretty simply here by just drawing half of a circle and then 2 or 3 or 4 of these little short lines. There we go. And of course don't forget this arm over here that's brandishing our laser blaster. What I want to do now is move back further into the background. This is called the foreground, where the explorer is, and the background is back where everything else is behind them. So that's where we're going now.
To boldly go into the background.
First thing I want to do, about halfway up my page, I'm going to just draw a ground line. Sometimes people call this the horizon line. Don't draw through your Space Explorer, just kind of imagine where this line would pick up on the other side of the Space Explorer. The next thing I think about when I think about exploring a different planet, I think, of course, about space aliens. And I'm going to put mine right down here in the bottom left corner of my picture. Do you have to put yours there? No, you can put it anywhere you want to. You can put it at the bottom right. You can put it anywhere you want, but one thing I do need to tell you. If you put this space alien below the ground line, it'll look like it's a very small alien close to you. If you put it above the ground line, it'll look like a very big alien very far away from you. Alright? Doesn't matter which one you do, but you do need to know that. Starting in the bottom left-hand corner of my picture, I'm going to just draw a circle, making the eye. Wherever you want your space alien to look, that's where you need to put the dot in the eye. If you want them looking up, put the dot close to the top of the circle. If you want them looking down, put it close to the bottom of the circle. Looking to the right, looking to the left, however you're looking, that's where you want it to go. I'm going to have my space alien kind of looking up at my Space Explorer, so I'm going to put a colored in dot. I'm going to give mine kind of like an elephant's trunk. I'm going to start a line from this side of the eye, a line that goes down and curves in. On the other side, another line that curves down and goes down like that. I'm going to connect those at the bottom with kind of a flat, squished circle, a little bit like a hot dog shape. Next thing I'm going to do, same thing on the top, a line that goes up and in, same thing from here, up and in, and then I'm going to connect those at the top with a kind of squished flat circle. Now I think about space aliens on certain planets as having like long pointy ears. So what I'm going to do here, from about where that bottle starts, I'm going to curve a line that goes up and out, one on each side. Curves up and out. Then, and this is tricky, watch close, it's almost like a letter S. Alright, kind of comes in and joins the face. Goes in and joins the face. Now we're starting to get some ears. Alright, now the next thing I'm going to do is a little curved line with a line that goes up and out. That's for all those little squishy, fiddly, little wrinkly bits inside the ear right there that you can sometimes see. And what I'm going to do over here, curved line, kind of like a letter C on that side. I always like to give an indication of an eyebrow. Now here's the thing, different eyebrows do different things. If you want your space alien to look angry, put like a letter V here. Surprised eyebrows, draw them high up. Happy, or just kind of like a little curved line above it. I always like to think about space aliens as having tentacles and flopping around and things like that. So what I'm going to do to draw some tentacles on this space alien, a line that kind of just goes down and back up again from each side. Now, as I said earlier, things like arms, legs, tentacles, they usually start kind of thick by the body and they get thinner as they go away from the body. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start at the very tip, get a little bit fatter. I'm going to stop before it gets to the body. Alright? So it's kind of like drawing curvy letter V's. Let me show you. A line that curves, keep it sharp and pointy at the top, at the end. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Starting at the end of the tentacle, going back to almost meet the body. Not quite. Almost. Then I'm going to go out and back, out and back. Most creatures that have tentacles have a row of suction cups along the bottom edge of the tentacles. The octopus, the squid, the Venusian space cow. So I want to show the suction cups on one side of my tentacle. I'm going to just put a little row of circles. Just pick a side. It doesn't matter which side you pick. You can do the top edge, or the bottom edge, or you can do half circles. Here you go. Same thing over here. Now, how careful am I being with these?
I'm not being careful.
A finished drawing is better than a perfect drawing. Let me just tell you that right now. The next thing we need in our outer space picture is we need a way to get around, a way to get to this planet, and a way to get back home. Now, the way we're going to do that, we're going to draw a rocket ship. Whew, my favorite. I'm going to put mine over here in the left corner of my picture, slightly above the ground line. If you draw it below the ground line, it'll look like a little bitty toy rocket that they brought along with them to play with. Slightly above the ground line, I'm going to draw another trapezoid shape. It's a good drawing for trapezoid shapes. Flat at the top, flat at the bottom. Slightly angling in at the sides. Now, from each side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to curve a line down to meet the ground, curve a line down to meet the ground over there, because we're doing some fins here. Now, from the top of my trapezoid shape, I'm going to curve a line down to meet that first one, curve a line down to meet that first one to the ground. Now, what if your lines of your fins don't quite match up? It's okay. It doesn't matter. Just let them touch the ground line, and there you go. It'll be all right. Now, kind of what I'm going to do next, I'm going to imagine a dotted line just going up the middle. From the very center of this, I'm just going to imagine a line going up however tall you want your rocket ship to be. Now, what I like to do is I just sort of draw an imaginary... How do you draw an imaginary line?
How do you draw an imaginary line?
You don't really draw it. It's imaginary. You think it. But you put your hand right here and you imagine that line, and then however tall you want your rocket to be, that's where you start drawing. I'm going to draw a line that goes down to meet the side of the trapezoid there. I'm going to start where I started again at the top. I'm going to draw down to meet my trapezoid right over there. Whew, that was hard. Imaginary drawing is hard. Now the next thing I want to do is I need to be able to see out of my rocket ship. I kind of like the old-fashioned notion of putting some windows in it, so I'm just going to put a row of circles, circle, circle, 3, 4, 15, 26, however many windows you want to have, you can put it. Around each one of these circles, I'm going to go ahead and put another circle. Now, if the rocket ship windows are made of glass, we might see some of these same highlights and reflections we saw on the face mask. So what I'm going to do, again, here, I'm going to just draw like a letter C with another little letter C, sort of like banana shapes right in there. Now, sometimes what I like to do on my rocket ship here is put a little upside down U shape, which I color in to make it look like a door where they could get in or out of their spaceship. And if you want, you could draw a ladder coming down there. How do you draw a ladder? A ladder is just two lines with some little side-to-side lines in between them. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. The next thing I want to do in my picture, I want to put a flying saucer. Flying saucers are awesome, and I love to draw them. Let me show you how. Our picture is getting a little bit crowded, so we have to be kind of creative about where we're going to put things from here on out. I'm going to put my flying saucer up here in my right-hand corner because that's where I have the most room. But before you start drawing this, you might want to just look around in the sky and say, where do you have enough room to put a flying saucer? All right? Now, obviously, if you don't have much room, drawing things smaller will give the illusion of having more room. I'm going to start by just doing an upside down U shape. Actually, it's kind of like a letter C rolled on its side. Across the bottom edge of that, a short little curve line for the bottom edge of the glass. And then what I'm going to do is put a line that slants down and out on that side. And I'm going to connect them at the bottom with a curved line. There we go, we have our flying saucer. Doesn't look much like a flying saucer though, because it needs some other stuff. Curved glass, curved glass, curved glass. Those highlights, those reflections, we need to do the same thing here. Only this isn't a circle just like this one was, so I'm going to put just like half of a banana shape right there. It's kind of like a triangle that kind of is melting, squishing off over to the side. Now across the top edge right here, I'm going to put a row of circles. Across the bottom edge, I'm going to put a row of circles. Now, just like with the laser blaster, I might want this to look like it has all kinds of controls and switches and dials and things like that. So what I'm going to do, again, is just some lines, some shapes, maybe a square or two, to make it look like it has some things happening. What if you want to put rocket boosters underneath it, like flames shooting out of the bottom of it? We can do that. The easiest way to do it would be to draw some little squares underneath it, just 2 or 3, and then a jaggedy zigzag line underneath each one of those. Now we're ready to move further into our background. I always like to show some mountains off in the distance, sort of like the mountains of the moon. And the way I'm going to show the mountains, I'm going to draw almost like a letter U shape. Kind of just think about the way a letter U shape goes. It just dips down, comes back up, dips down, comes back up. And let me show you over here. I'm going to start at the left-hand side of my drawing. A line that dips down, comes back up, dips down. Draw around your rocket ship. Draw around your space explorer. Imagine where these lines go through the Space Explorer, but don't draw over the Space Explorer. Go down and come back up. Down, imagine, and come back up. About 5 or 6 of these all the way across the page. From one side, and I don't care which side it is, but from one side of these, I'm going to just angle a line, a slanted line, down to meet the other side of those mountains. Angle it down. Here I'm going to imagine where that peak is, and I'm going to angle a line down on my edge of that page. What I also want to do right here, I'm going to put some values, some shading. I'm going to put some lines side to side across there. I'm going to do that on every one of these. We are so close to the end of our picture right now. We have a couple more things. For one thing, up in the sky, we might need to put some stars, maybe a planet or two. The simplest way to put a planet is simply to draw a circle. There you go. But it doesn't look much like a planet right now, does it? So if we put some lines, maybe like a curly Q or something in there to sort of show some storms, some atmosphere on that different planet. For my ringed planet, I'm going to put it over here in the corner. I'm going to start by just drawing an upside down letter U. Now, it's okay if it's a little bit slanted or tilted. In fact, it kind of looks better that way. Starting from the bottom of this line, I'm going to go up just a little bit, and then I'm going to draw a line that goes out and comes back around. At this point, it looks a little bit like a bowler hat. Next, I'm going to go right above where I started that line and draw another line that goes out further on each side. What I need to do next is imagine where this line continues, and I can make it join to that ring right there if it didn't in the first place. I'm going to imagine where this line would come out at the bottom edge and join over there. Now, just like a round planet, I want to put some squiggles, some lines, some shapes to make it look like an atmosphere or clouds or something happening on that planet. We are ready to put some stars in our picture. The easiest way to draw a star is to think of someone with a pointy head and pointy hands and pointy legs. Those aren't my legs, but you know, pointy legs. Let me show you what I mean. Right over here. An upside down letter V for the pointy head. A sideways letter V for pointy arms, leaving space at the bottom. A slanted letter V for one pointy leg. A slanted letter V for another leg. And I'm going to put these stars just kind of scattered around wherever I think I need a star. You can draw small stars. You can draw big stars. Whatever kind of stars you think you need. And with that, we have finished our drawing. Hooray! So what we need to do now is sign our picture. Most artists sign their pictures in the bottom right-hand corner. And I've tried to leave some space there. If you don't have space in the bottom right-hand corner, you can use the bottom left-hand corner. What I'm going to do is just sign my name. And I like to date it, so I'm going to put the date on it. I think what you ought to do next is maybe get some crayons and color it, or some colored pencils, or some watercolor paints. I would love to see what you've done with it, and I would love to see a copy of your drawing. So post in the comments below. That would be fantastic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Keep an eye out for Quest for the Golden Butterfly, out soon from Tikifez Comics.